Great day. Welcome to the House of Masculinity. This Sunday, May 7th, 2023. And I'm Blackjack. Salute. Peace to the tribe. Tribe up for me. Salute. Shout out to all the faithful members. Shout out to all the subscribers. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share the video. We're about to get into it though. We're about to have a conversation. And the title of today's show is Don't Call Me African American. Salute.
You big dummy. Biatch.
Y'all saw the thumbnail. We got our boy, Jesse Jackson.
You big dummy.
Lurking in the background. And then we got the All-Bone Savage standing in the foreground. Salute.
Now who sent you, nigga?
Yeah, we got Jesse Jackson back there. And look at that hat. Look at that hat Jesse got on. Y'all see that? What kind of hat is that? That boy over there looking like he rocking with the Pope, with the synagogue of Satan. That boy look like he down with the Doomed Out Verses. Look at that. Is that a Knights Templar cross? Salute.
You big dummy.
Oh, y'all know about the Knights Templar, right? I know y'all know about the Knights Templar. Look like our boy Jesse got on a Knights Templar hat. I don't know what that is. Is that boy Boulay? Is that Knights Templar? He look like he rocking with the Knights Templar cross, y'all. That's what he look like, the Knights Templar Secret Society. That's what that boy look like. He got that Knights Templar on. I don't know. Is it me?
You big dummy.
Our boy Jesse. I think that's a Knights Templar. Is he in a secret society? Is he the Boulay? Is our boy Jesse Jackson the Black Boulay? Salute.
You big dummy. Now who sent you, nigga?
Yeah, who sent you, Jesse? Cause don't call me African American. Salute.
You big dummy.
Y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support monetarily, we got a cash out at the top of the screen, cash.app/$ House of Masculinity. And we also got the merch on deck at www.strictlyformonagas.com. Go on over there and get you some merchandise. And if you sign up for the membership for as low as $2.99 at the House of Masculinity, get yourself some discounts on that merch. You know what I'm saying? Salute. And it also gets you access to the members only live stream. Tribe Up Monaga, Tribe Up. Salute to the members. And salute to the subscribers. We got 3 knockers watching. We ought to have 3 likes. Y'all hit that like button. Salute. Hit that dislike if you were pretending.
You big dummy.
Go on and hit that dislike for me. You know what I'm saying? Do me a favor, you big pretending. But if you're a real knocker, hit that like. Cause we just talking Jesse Jackson, and don't call me no African American. He got the nice Templar cross on his hat. Yeah, we got the All-Bone Savage in the front. In the foreground, we got the
Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique.
Yeah, don't call me African American.
Et l'Amérique négrée.
Negret.
Salute. Don't call me that.
See now what we have here is
salute
a
to George
failure
Washington
to
III.
communicate.
Salute to George Washington III in the house. Alabama in the house. Salute. Tribe up. Yeah, he rocking the Knights Templar. He's secret society. He telling us to call ourselves African Americans. The French calling us All-Bone Savage. The French calling us.
Et l'Amérique négrée.
Jesse Jackson say, nah, man, let's call it African American. Same time he sit back there with a Knights Templar hat on, like he down with the synagogue of Satan, like he down with the Jays, you know, like he down with the Vatican, you know, like he down with the Black Boulay Monaga. That's what he looking like to me. And we see this fine All-Bone Savage in the foreground. Let's blow that up for a minute. All-Bone. Let's get back to us. Let's forget about Jesse and let's get back to us, that All-Bone Savage. You know, we're gonna drive the point home. We got this fine All-Bone Savage cloth. This fine l'Amérique négrée.
Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique.
And we've covered we've covered the Arbonne Savage several times in the House of Masculinity. We know exactly what the Arbonne Savage is over here. If you ain't familiar with the Arbonne Savage, I suggest you check our prior live streams. We ain't gonna dwell on it, but this is just another one. I'm quite sure many of you haven't seen this one yet, so I decided to show the Arbonne Savage, the American Indian, with his parrot, and we're gonna put him slap dead in front of Jesse Faker Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Old pan fake African Jesse Jackson. We're gonna put him right in front of him to show the American Naga where he truly from. And the French told you, one of the colonizers told you, they called you an Arbonne Savage. And we done dug all into the Arbonne Savage. This is another one. All right, and we used it on the thumbnail. And we're gonna continue to use them. Because we're gonna make the Arbonne Savage right at home over here in the House of Masculinity. Salute. Let's dig on into this further. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Talking about African Americans. We ain't no African Americans. You know what I'm saying? That is not who we is. And you know, and I brought this up today. I said, you know what? Let's just go on and spend a little time talking about this, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Let's talk about it, read about it, dig on it. You know, Jesse Jackson in 1988 telling Negroes, no, y'all should call yourself African Americans. That's what Jesse Jackson telling Negroes, so-called Negroes, so-called blacks, so-called American Indians. He telling us that in 1988, right? He telling blacks, so-called blacks, man, y'all should just adopt the term, just adopt the term. You know what I'm saying? Call yourself African American and everything be great. You know, maybe you could just go to Africa one day, even though you ain't never been there. Your ancestors either. That's what Jesse Jackson was on. So we gon' talk about this a little more, and I'm gonna pull up something. I want to pull up some video footage of Jesse Jackson. I'm gonna let him tell y'all in his own words where he stand on all this. You feel me? I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let Jesse tell you. But before we go there, I want to look at one more thing. Y'all give me one brief second. I want to pull this up real quick. Hey, and we rocking to that. We rocking to that late night acid jazz in the background. Salute. All right, hold on, wait a minute. Wednesday. Hold on, let me type this in, y'all. Y'all gonna like this. Let's see how I spelled this shit again. That shit say Augen Wednesday. Let me see if I can spell that right. Augen Wednesday. Oh, hold on. Blinking eyes. Augen Wednesday. Whatever that means. Augen Wednesday. Let's see if we get the right thing now. Alright, here we go. Alright. Before we dig into Jesse Jackson and him telling y'all what he mean by us calling ourselves African American and all this in his own words, even though we know better over here, we dug in the real history over here. Before we go there, I want to show y'all where this Arbonne Savage, the Salamadi Bigle clock is, and I'm gonna go here real quick, and it's on this site. It's on Christie's.com. Or they ask for cookies. Well, I ain't finna let no cookies, but yeah, Augen Wednesday, blinking eyes. This is it right here, right? And it's the price said GBP 8,125, whatever that is in dollars, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Estimates 3,000 to 5,000. Yeah, for this Austrian ebonized and parcel gilded quarter striking Pindor Arbonne Savage with calendar and blinking eyes. Augen Wednesday automation, Vienna, early 19th century, early 1800s, right? Provenance. You know what I'm saying? Anonymous sale increases, and they got this in Amsterdam. And this was posted on March 2011. Ain't no telling what it's worth now. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure someone has purchased it. But that's where this came from. Clearly an American Indian with his feather loincloth and feather headdress. He looked like he holding a parrot. That looks like what appears to be a parrot in his hand. Salute. Just another foundation for those that ain't know. Those that ain't know why we use that in front of Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson telling you to call yourself an African American and using American Indian. Your ancestors was American Indians. They didn't come from Africa. They was here since day one. And we got Jesse. Oh, what I done did, hijack. And we got Jesse. We got Jesse all over here with a Knights Templar Pope looking hat on. Secret Society hat. Telling you to call yourself an African American, my nigga. You gonna go for that? I think not. I'm not. I know better. I read for real. I don't listen to no goof ass Jesse Jackson what he talking about, dude. But this what happened in 1988, and we about to talk about it. So let me drop the music for a second, and we finna go to some video footage, and we gonna let Jesse Jackson tell you in his own words. Salute. And let's go to the footage. Let's go to the footage. Fair use YouTube. This is for educational purposes. This is for educational purposes. But no. Before we go to Jesse Jackson, my bad. I got my research set up different. Before we go to Jesse Jackson, telling you this in his own words, let's just dig into the whole subject matter at hand. This right here is titled "Black or African American," and this is from Afro Pride TV, and this is an old ass clip from a news station from like something like 60 Minutes. But let's see what they talking about, African or Black American. But I say neither. Salute.
You big dummy.
I say neither one. Salute.
How many of you have heard about this debate about the identification of black versus African American? Have any of you heard about that?
At the David Ellis Elementary School in Roxbury.
At an elementary school, Managa.
You big dummy.
Why are they drilling ethnic identity in elementary school students? You know what I'm saying? First off, let's continue. Fair use YouTube.
We asked 4th and 5th grade students and their teachers what term they preferred.
Whatever they call you, African or black, it doesn't matter because you know what you are.
It does matter, and you do know what you are, and it very well does matter.
There shouldn't be any kind of.
This is why it's important for you to teach your own kids. And I'm gonna start making content that's more watered down, using less profane words, that's more sensitive to children, so we can have something to share with our children about our true identities and not these colonizer lies. We don't have to live no Afro-American, African-American lie when you clearly something else.
After for the race.
If it's Afro-Americans black, would it also be Afro England blacks?
See, okay, there we go with a free thinker. Somebody was thinking deeper. They say, okay, well, what about everybody else? What about the Australians? What about the European blacks? Are they Afro-European? Are these Afro-Australians? You got to explain everybody being where they at. So now you want to come out with an out of Africa theory. You want to say everybody came from Africa, which is a bold-faced lie.
I call it brown.
You call it brown.
Look at that. Another free thinker. He said he called it brown. He said, I ain't black, I'm brown.
It doesn't really matter.
Big dummy.
It does matter, young lady.
It'll move some of us to think about our African roots and begin to do our family history.
African roots. Prove your African roots. Do your history. But can you prove African roots? I bet you cannot. I bet you will prove Aborigine roots before you can ever prove any African roots, Managa.
And I think that all black young people particularly, and middle-aged and older people, need to continue to look at their family history.
Salute. Continue to look at your family history, Managa. That's the only way you're going to know who you truly is. You can't take everybody's word. You can't take these slave labels and other labels and classifications. Who are you truly? Who were your people? Who were the people in your area? Where did your family originate, Managa? Line out your family tree, Managa. Salute. Fair use, YouTube.
You can see that I'm an African person.
You can't, hold on, back that up. She said that you could see she's an African person. That's a lie. You can't see that no one's an African person. There are white people that originated in Africa. There are so-called Negroes that are originated in Africa. How can you see that someone is African? That is a bold-faced lie. That is a jackass statement. And we're going to run it back and hear it one more time.
You can see that I'm an African person.
You big dummy.
We should teach that to our children.
So she done fell for. No, we should not teach that to our children. You should not teach your children just because you so-called brown or so-called black that you can see that they're an African person. That is not true. Being so-called brown or so-called black does not inform you to say you can see that you are African or from any nation. You got to know your family tree, your true roots. This ain't all about what you can talk about, you can see, or what you can't see. Salute. Salute.
You big dummy.
Children strenuously. We should always acknowledge it. We should be proud of it. Whether or not we're American.
Yeah. You should be proud of where you truly from, Managa, where you truly from. Not where you think you from or somebody else told you was from, especially someone who clearly came over on the ship. You let a foreigner, you let a descendant of a colonizer tell you that you from somewhere else. You gotta be a big dummy, Managa. You can't be that
You
dumb.
big dummy.
Salute.
Americans is a sometime thing. All black people in this country are not Americans. All black people in this country are black. Let's unite.
I refuse to unite under false pretense with anyone. We will only unite under the truth. We will only unite under facts, not feelings. It ain't no we all black. I'm not black. Just like little man told you, he said he brown. See, we're gonna look deep into this brainwashing ass debate, and we got brainwash coming from the inside and from the outside. They got confusion going on, babble going on. Salute.
You big dummy.
Let's dig on it. And my equipment fan running in the background to cool my equipment off, y'all. So y'all hear the little background noise. It'll shut off and cycle off on its own in a second. Y'all been running the equipment kind of hard this morning. Salute. Well, anywho, we'll proceed. Hope everybody can hear okay. Now we're gonna move on another clip I want to look at that's on this topic. You know what I'm saying? It's called Reverend Jesse Jackson crowned as an African king. Salute.
You big dummy.
Reverend Jesse Jackson.
This man ain't got one ancestor from Africa. He don't know one ancestor.
The founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition was crowned as an African king. An African king from Ghana crowned Jackson himself. Tonight's event highlighted traditions within the African, Caribbean, and African American communities. We're staying.
They done crowned this big dummy as the king of
dummy.
Africa, and he ain't even from over there. Boy, the brainwash is heavy. All right, let's get into this, y'all. Let's get into this. All this crowning from Africa and African American stuff, man. But we'll look here on this American Colonization Society. That's where we at right now. We on Wikipedia, the American Colonization Society. As a matter of fact, let me set this up to put this thing on the big screen so everybody can really see what we looking into right now. Let's get it wrapped back up real quick so we can see what we really talking about. All right, we're gonna go back to the big screen. Yeah, we on American Colonization Society. We ain't gonna even start at the top. We'll read a little bit from the top, but we're gonna go down and we're gonna see who opposed this. The American Colonization Society, or the ACS, initially the Society for the Colonization of Free People of Color in America. Who was the free people of color in America? The so-called Audubon Savage, the so-called El Amérique Negre, the so-called
Nègre. Au bon sauvage. Au Négré l'Amérique.
That's who the free people of color was. The American Indians. Salute, Managa. Salute.
You big dummy.
So when they talking the American Colonization Society, initially the Society for the Colonization of Free People of Color of America, they talking about the real American Indians. They talking about the American Nagas. They talking about the so-called Negroes, so-called black, falsely labeled African Americans. Until 1837 was an American organization founded in 1816 by Robert Finley to encourage and support the migration of freeborn blacks, aka American Indians, and emancipated slaves also to the continent of Africa. It was modeled on an earlier British colonization in Africa who had sought to resettle London's black poor. So they all in London trying to move the black out. Now they in America trying to say, y'all niggas need to go back to Africa. And niggas like, go back to Africa? They like, you big dummy, we ain't never
You
been
big
to Africa.
dummy.
They like, ask the French. The French know damn well we ain't from Africa. They know we the Indians that they fought with, trying to talk about they colonized the Louisiana Purchase and all this bullshit. Yeah, they know exactly who you is talking about go to Africa, go somewhere you ain't been. And they the one came over here on ships. But any naga here nor there, let's throw it down. It's not, look, they talking the African American community. Man, that term wasn't even around. They say the African American community, aka the American Indians, also known as the American Indians, right? And the abolitionist movement overwhelmingly opposed the project. They say, hell no, go to Africa for what?
You big dummy. Biatch.
So ain't never been to no damn Africa.
Now who sent you, nigga?
They say, okay, let's throw down more background. You know, they gonna talk slavery. They talking American Indians and black. They talking slavery, growth of slavery in the South. Or they talking the Indians, growth in the number of free black Nagas. They talking Indians, British black poor. We just saw that. Efforts to relocate the black people other than to Africa. They say, although little remembrance has ultimately nothing came with them, there were a number of other proposals of relocating former slaves. Or now it's former slaves. What about the free people of color you just talking about? What about the American Nagas? Somewhere much closer. One option discussed was setting them in the new sparsely populated western territories acquired within the Louisiana Purchase. My Naga, salute. The Louisiana Purchase. The French settlements, huh? King Louis, huh? Or on the Pacific coast, creating a black reservation similar to an Indian. It is the Indian reservation. Haiti was open to them. Salute.
You big
oh,
dummy.
They're telling on themselves big time, man. Managa, we just did a whole lot of history on Haiti. We know all about ancient Haiti. Haiti was open to them, and there was an unsuccessful attempt to create an agricultural community of former American slaves on Liavache, Haiti. Abraham Lincoln's plan was to settle them in what is today Panama. Y'all thought Abraham was your friend, right? Even Florida's government, Napoleon Bonaparte Broward, proposed in 1907 sending so-called blacks to a land the federal government would purchase, there to live permanently in isolation from whites. They found you over here, now they try to move you from here, right? Let's throw it down. Let's see what the blacks thought about all this, calling them African American and going back to African shit. Let's see what your ancestors thought, Managas. Opposition to colonization. All right, here we go. Let me move it over so y'all can see it better. My bad. Let's shrink it down where y'all can see this better. Let's see what your ancestors thought about all this African American mumbo jumbo and going to Nigeria and all this here and moving anywhere. Out their tribal lands, out their ancestral lands that they own, the Most High promised to them for inheritance forever. Since creation, Managa. Let's see what your ancestors thought about it. Opposition to colonization. Right? Y'all see where we at? I'm just trying to shrink it down and make sure y'all can read it. Opposition to colonization. I think we good. Let's throw down. Opposition to colonization. Let's look. Opposition from so-called blacks. Okay, here we go. Opposition from the so-called American Indians, right? The so-called African Americans, right? Falsely labeled African Americans. Let's see what they thought about it. Let's see what your ancestors thought about all this African American mumbo jumbo and blackety ass, take your ass to Africa mumbo jumbo. Let's see what they thought. From the beginning, the mass majority, almost 100% of them, 99.9%, the majority of American Nagas, so-called Black Americans, so-called American Indians, so-called African Americans, so-called Negroes, so-called blacks, regarded the society with gigantic, enormous, they was about to explode, disdain, a fixed hatred. They hated them. Your ancestors, black ass, they hated that American society for colonization. They hated them people. They wanted to kill them. They hated them. They wanted to delete them. They said, don't call me no African American. They say, I am not going nowhere. They had a fixed hatred. Blacks activist James Fortin immediately rejected the ACS, writing in 1817 that we have no wish to separate from our present homes for any purpose, whatever. As soon as they heard about it, 3,000 Nagas packed the church in Philadelphia, the bellwether city for free blacks, and bitterly and unanimously denounced it. They published a protest pamphlet. Them Nagas got their scrap. Get the scrap, Nagas. They got a pamphlet. They got the writing stuff. They was furious. Your ancestors was pissed the F off to full festivity, my Naga. You ever been pushed to full festivity, my Naga? Your ancestors was pushed to full festivity. This is the last straw. That's what your ancestors say. I'm just trying to make you feel it, Managa. It say, now after the colonization society has been formed without the consent of the colored people, without the consent of the American Indians, Managa, without the consent of the Nagas, without the consent of the Negro or the so-called blacks. They said, we don't need your consent, Naga. Jesse Jackson was with it. Salute.
You big dummy.
Biatch.
After the enterprise has been violently pushed against, then the Nagas push back with violence.
Now who sent you, nigga? Shut up.
Nobody sent
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
Your granddaddy was to full festivity. He pushed back as violent as possible against their reiterated protests for 17 years. Your granddaddy went out fighting to his death, saying, you better not call me African American, I will swing on you. And you know, later on, generation later, y'all Nagas forgot. Your granddad was fighting about it. After his friends acknowledged that coercion has been used in getting away its victims, and so long as they would persuade us that this is not the native country of colored Americans, and that we ought not to let them remain here, what is it better than gross mockery to talk about consent? Salute.
You big dummy.
Biatch.
Now who sent you, nigga?
Nobody sent me.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
Even
and I ain't playing, nigga.
Even your granddaddy Frederick Douglass condemned the colonization. Frederick Douglass say, Naga going to Africa. Frederick Douglass say, Naga, until the Naga get respect here, there's no need to seek respect elsewhere. So you will get respect right here, my Naga. That's what Frederick Douglass said. He wrote something about it too. He condemned colonization. Shame upon the guilty wretches that dare propose, and all that countenance such a proposition. We live here, have lived here, have a right to live here, and we mean to live here forever and ever, my Naga. Martin Delaney, who believed that black Americans deserved a new country, a new beginning for what? Called Liberia a miserable mockery of an independent republic, a racist scheme of the ACS to rid the United States of free blacks, free Nagas, not no slaves, slaves too, huh? He proposed instead Central and South America as the ultimate destination and future home of the colored race on this continent. See Lincolnia. A recent 2014, and quote the sources right here, my Naga, and I do dig on these sources, my Naga. I suggest you do too. We got 9 Nagas watching. We gotta have 9 likes. We gotta have 5 likes and 4 dislikes. We gotta have a couple Nagas hating, a couple fake pretendians hating, Pan-African booty scratcher wannabe in here. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Jackson looking at Naga up in this bitch, hitting the dislike. Hit that dislike. If you're a real Naga, hit that like though. Salute. A recent ride on Kinetic, African Americans summarizes the attitude amongst them. So-called African Americans, right? The American Indians, the Nagas, the Negro, the blacks, view colonization as a means of defrauding them of the rights of not citizenship, ancestral ownership, and a way of tightening the grip of slavery. The tragedy was that these Nagas began to view their ancestral home with disdain. They telling you you viewing your ancestral home with disdain, my Naga. You think you going to Africa and all this here? You think you going over there and everything okay? Meanwhile, you disdaining your ancestral home. My Naga, your granddaddy turning over in his grave right now. He went down swinging and busting shots. He went down fighting violently. Tell you he's an Indian, not an African. He's an American. He's a Tamarican, not an African. He's a black American, not a black African. So-called black, right? They say the tragedy was that the so-called African Americans began to view their ancestral home with disdain. Their ancestral home, ain't it a shame, monogamous? You just went to viewing the stronghold of the colored race with disdain. They dropped the use of African in names of their organization. They said, man, get that out of here. And use instead of African Americans, the colored American. Oh, copper color. Here we go. Copper color. Oh, and while we at all that, colored and black and African American and copper colored this and that and all this name calling, while we at all of that, while we at it, my naga, since we own it, let's go back to Jack Forbes one more time. The use of the terms Negro, Black, to include persons of Native American ancestry, Indigenous American, Aboriginal American Indian ancestry being called Negro, Black, and Color. The word black, right? Color, right? All of that. We're talking the 1850s here. The possibility that Native Americans, American Indians, Tamaricans were quite commonly called Negroes is very much supported. Of course, they was called Negroes. What else you gonna call them when they looking like this?
Nègre. Et l'Amérique négrée. Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique.
Oh man, the jig is up, man. We connecting dots, man, and all of them lining right on up. They lining right on up. Jesse Jackson, old boule ass, man. Get on out of here with all that average. The boule, secret society of black people that work against the liberation of the black people. Your granddaddy wanted to be liberated. He said, I ain't going nowhere. He was putting the scrap out. Your granddaddy he died. Boy. Your granddaddy was a real nigga. Your granddaddy, I don't know about some of these niggas out here, but boy, your granddaddy was a real nigga, boy. Your granddaddy was tried the F up. Your granddaddy was conned up. He said, I ain't going over there. He said, my ancestral land right here. But the Jesse Jackson bitch ass came along though. The Boule secret society of black people that was against your granddaddy. Against the liberation of your granddaddy, Managa. The Boule Foundation. Look at that. All that old Greek Sigma Phi booty shaker. That old Greek Sigma Phi booty shaker. Fraternity stuff. That old Knights Templar stuff, man. All that old crap this dude got on, man. Talking about you an African American. I can hear no other. The Boule, aka Black Greek fraternities and sororities, are a mutation of the white man. Look at that. We start right there. Jesse Jackson is a mutation of the white man.
You big dummy.
Yatch.
Jesse Jackson saying the same thing the KKK say. Naga, go to Africa.
You big dummy.
Jesse Jackson got the same argument as the Ku Klux Klan. Ain't that something? Let's all just go to Africa, huh? You ain't never been, nor have your ancestors. Boule, Jesse Jackson, and the sororities are a mutation of the white man that seeks to represent something that's not Greek. True, they are indeed the prominent Negroes of America. The Boule has about 4,000 members that amongst the wealthiest group of black folks on the planet, like Jesse Jackson. Look at these niggas. Jesse Jackson back there hiding in the closet or something. He probably in this little closet back here.
You big
Jesse,
dummy.
Bring your ass up out of there, Jesse. They have money but lack power. They have access to money but no control over money. None are working in the interest of black people because in actuality they loathe the common blacks. They loathe you.
Nègre.
They loathe you.
Et l'Amérique négrée.
They loathe you.
Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique.
They loathe you, my naga. These niggas loathe you. Look at that Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. Oh, look at that. That's your boy Hova. Look at all these niggas. Oh, ain't that a coinky dink right next to Al Sharpton? They ain't that a coinky dink. Ain't that a co-inky dink? The Boule Managa. The reason you don't know which side to choose. Hey, what they talking about, Jesse, man? Oprah Winfrey, what they at on Jesse Jackson? Jesse Jackson is Boule.
You big dummy.
Hey, Jesse Boule, and he was used against the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and by Bill Clinton while Farrakhan was on his tour in Africa. Look at us, see? Don't trust that Jesse Jackson get your ass killed. You go to Africa. They gonna kill Jesse Jackson down in Africa. Jesse Jackson was sent as an envoy of the United States government at the same time to distract African leaders from Farrakhan while the White House was calling African leaders, telling them if you receive Farrakhan, the U.S. government will not look highly upon you. Wow. See, Jesse Jackson down with the colonizer. Salute. Jesse Jackson way down with him. He bootlaid in the mud. Jesse, bootlaid in the mud. Boy, we got you, Jesse. First Jesse telling you to call yourself African Americans, then he gets you over there. He trying to set you up. He got Farrakhan over there trying to get Farrakhan 86. He trying to get them to kick Farrakhan bucket.
You big dummy. Now who you, nigga?
The bootlaid son, that nigga. The bootlaid son, Jesse. Leaders say blacks want to be called African Americans. This is 1988, y'all. This is what we brought it out. We're gonna bring it all home to this. This was Jesse Jackson little movement here. Push, Operation Push. In 1988. Now we just read what your granddaddy said. Your granddaddy went fighting to the grave for 17 years. He was busting shots at people, all kind of stuff. Your granddaddy was fighting. Your granddaddy said, I ain't from no African, don't call me no African American. But in 1988, Jesse Jackson and leaders say blacks wanted to be called African American. Jesse Jackson rolled up in that bitch with the Boule in 1988 in Chicago, AP. A group of black leaders, Jesse Jackson and the Boule, Chicago, AP. Jesse Jackson and the Boule, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson, says members of their race would prefer to be called African American rather than blacks.
You big dummy. Jesse
Jackson went down there to them folks and lied on your granddad. Your granddaddy would smoke Jesse Jackson ass on sight. They'd have scalped that nigga. They'd have sent Jesse Jackson ass back to the Boule in a box, my nigga. Told you your ancestors was fighting violently against that. That was back in the day. Here come Jesse Jackson in the Boule in 1988 talking about, you know what? I think blacks rather be called African Americans. It said your granddad and them had a fixed hatred. It said your granddad and them had a fixed hatred and disdain. They say from the beginning, the majority of your granddad, all y'all granddaddies said, Naga, we'll shoot it out. Say bring Jesse Jackson show up around here in the stronghold of the Naga, that's his ass. They black activist James Forson immediately rejected it. They your granddaddy said, hell no. He said, we have no wish to separate from our present homes for any purposes whatsoever. Damn Jesse Jackson bitch ass, basically. Salute. Jesse Jackson one of them people that lied. Just as we were called colored, but we are not that. And then Negro, but we are not that. And to be called black is just as baseless. Oh, we was called colored, black, and Negro, we was called all that, but we are not that, Jesse. That's what you saying? You said what we was called, black, colored, Negro, and all that. Oh yeah, Jesse. Jesse, I guess you ain't read Jack Forbes. The use of the terms Negro and black to include persons of Native American ancestry, Jesse. I guess you ain't read that, Jesse. You talking all this African American nonsense, Jesse. You ain't read Jack Forbes. You ain't never seen these 200 and 300 year old French American Indian clocks. They call the Audubon Savage. Look it up for your own if you never saw it. But if you're new here, hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Go look up the Audubon Savage clocks, the French Audubon Savage clocks of the noble American Indian, the noble savage. Yeah, the Naga. Oh, this African American. Your granddaddy would have put a bow in the middle of Jesse. He'd have put an arrow in the middle of Jesse Jackson eyes. Talking go to Africa. You that Naga crazy. Y'all hit that like, man. Subscribe, man. Tribe up, my Naga. Get that membership. We got the memberships on deck. $2.99 for the low, my Naga. You get access to the members on the live stream. You get access to discounts at strictlyformynagas.com on the merchandise. You know, right now we got a coupon popping off for the members. Tribe up. Get that membership, my Naga. It's gonna pay for itself. Salute. I'm Black Jack. It's a house of masculinity. It's respect my house, the stronghold of the Nagas, the stronghold of the colored race. Cause we will let the doorknob hit Jesse Jackson ass where the Most High split his ass. And we out. Peace.
It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you.
Use a real Naga, throw a feather up. Tribe up, my Naga, put your bows and arrows up. The stronghold of the Naga ain't they scared of us. They try to dumb a Naga down, but we leveled up. Yeah. Strictly for my Nagas.
Africa. I remember when they were marching, people started screaming in the suburbs, back to Africa with them, back to Africa with who? Shit, I ain't never been Africa. Don't send me home, send me to St. Louis, Missouri. 4461 Enright, top floor. Africa, what the hell I look like standing in the jungle with a $750 Moab suit and some alligator shoes. That's not hunting garb. I'm here all the way.
Hey, tribe up. Before we wrap it up, shout out to the homie, to the tribe, to the brethren, Anthony Morgan for the $7 cash out. Hey, we appreciate all the support, my Naga. Much love, much love. And we out, y'all.